Pennsylvania Congressman Tim Murphy, who's a Republican and chairman of the House Oversight and Investigations Subcommittee that held today's hearing. He's also a founding member of the GOP Doctors Caucus. Sir, thank you for being here with us tonight. And so what was the biggest thing you took away from today's hearing?
Confusion is still there. Mixed messages from the organizations or federal agencies. On the one hand, they're saying it may have been okay if someone was properly gowned. Travel, then they're saying maybe not. There's some confusion on that element from the CDC. I also found it actually refreshing from a doctor from the Texas hospital who joined us via teleconference. He said mistakes have been made. That's really important, especially if we're going to restore public trust.
The Texas hospital is taking responsibility. That I agree with you. That was something that was clear today. But speak to the CDC. Are they?
Well, no. I'm troubled by their continual belief, as with the White House as well, as saying that a travel ban will be a problem. Quarantine shouldn't be there. Telling people they shouldn't travel, they don't agree with that yet. And I'm troubled by all that. Monitoring fevers and relying on people's self-reporting is still the crux of their containment and surveillance efforts. And for something that is this deadly, even though, granted, only a couple people have in this country, we don't want anybody to have this and suffer from this. So that it bothers me that is still their position.
Well, and here's what we learned about this second nurse, Amber Vinson, yesterday, which was she was one of the ones who was told to self-monitor, check yourself for a fever and let us know if you have one. So she flies off to Cleveland from Dallas. She's getting married. She wants to pick out her dress. When she's supposed to come back to Dallas this past Monday, she has a fever. That's the telltale first sign. She calls the CDC, says, I have a fever. Should I get on this airplane? And she reportedly was told, go ahead and do it because your fever is only 99.5, and that's below the guideline at which you're not supposed to travel. So she did it. The CDC comes out and says she shouldn't have got on that airplane. Now the director says, I'm not sure whether we talked to her or not, but the reports were that they did. So he doesn't know. It just seems like no one is minding the shop.
Yes, and you're right. And there's also a New England Journal of Medicine study that says about 13% of the cases, the fever is not high when the person has Ebola. So just using it as a criteria alone. Plus, the CDC has changed that actual temperature level of which they consider it significant. And when Mr. Duncan came in Texas, he was also below that cutoff score for the fever. So you see, these mixed messages are what give people a lot of anxiety about this. The point that I was raising with Dr. Frieden is, if that person had been exposed, even as a healthcare provider, to someone with Ebola, they shouldn't have traveled, and I believe such workers should also be under some level of quarantine. He said, well, if she was properly gowned, it would be okay, but now it's pretty clear that was not the case, and Dr. Frieden wasn't even sure of that.
She was not properly gowned. I mean, the nurses have made clear that they don't believe she was. Thank you very much for being here with us, Congressman. Good to see you.